Kerala State Youth Welfare Board presents Kerala Entrepreneurial Youth Summit, Key 2018.
Thank you for the kind words. My fellow speakers and the youngsters in Kerala. So it's a very interesting juncture as I was reading yesterday. If you look at population demographics in India, we have more youth today than the entire population of India ever. So, മലയാളത്തിൽ പറയുവാണെങ്കിൽ ഇതുവരെ ജനിച്ച് മരിച്ച entire population in the history of civilization in India, ഇന്ന് അതിൽ കൂടുതൽ youngsters are alive in India. So, if you go to a Federal Bank or a South Indian Bank or a Canara Bank, you will definitely get a good hearing, and you will have a lot less papers to sign before you actually get some of these seed funds for your initial takeoff. So having some of these ecosystems is very important. The fourth one is having access to the right kind of customers and the right kind of markets. Now, we are just, as an ecosystem in Kerala, we have not reached there in terms of maturity. That's where probably being in a Bangalore or being in Delhi for that matter. Now, Delhi is also really catching up. The startup fever is really catching up there, and of course Bombay. These places give you a slightly wider market space, and it also gives you a slightly diverse market space. Kerala is not there today, but we are progressing really fast, and you will see that kind of support which is available there. So some of those basic ingredients of how fertile the land is for entrepreneurship in Kerala, it's there. And the government is making the right kind of noises and the right kind of policies, and it's giving you exposure on some of these things in a very, perhaps, in a very positive manner is what I would say. So today, entrepreneurship and looking at youth welfare is an important topic, and that's the reason we are here as well. We have not seen an entrepreneurship summit being initiated by the Youth Welfare Board in the past, but it's a great initiative where we understand that today entrepreneurship is a viable career option. Now, I also want to touch upon this entire thing about failures. See, across the globe, you would see some statistics which says that, perhaps 1 or 2 entrepreneurs out of every 10 entrepreneurs will succeed. And there is some truth in some of these statements as well. If you look at some of the reports that KSUM publishes, and if you have not, I would urge you to go to the website and look at the Kerala Startup Mission's last report on the startups in Kerala. Actually, our success percentage is much higher than the global average. Of course, our base is much smaller. But then there is always, the fear that you may not do well in the venture. Now, that will also gradually change. We have, again, that's one area we have not really reached, but we are progressively seeing that change towards acceptance of some kind of failure, or some kind of roadblock coming up when you have in your respective entrepreneurship journeys. We are also saying that, as a person or as an entrepreneur, you are not a failure, but perhaps that particular enterprise is, it's not doing well. To the extent, if you go to the Western countries and if you go to a bank and you apply for a loan and you say that, you failed 3 times and this is your 4th venture, some of those financial institutions see that as a positive spell, thinking that, you probably have taken the risk and you've done a few things, and they don't necessarily see it as negative. In Kerala, I don't need to tell you, entrepreneurship was always seen as, something which was not very glamorous in the past. And, we used to look at people who were entrepreneurs with a lot of suspect and with a lot of ill feeling as well. And we have seen Kerala, right? We would take a lot of pleasure to see somebody failing in entrepreneurship, as if, he didn't want to study well, or he didn't want to do well in studies, so he tried something. Or an entrepreneurship, someone who's greedy and he didn't want to make money the right way, and hence he made, he got into entrepreneurship. So all those things have changed for the better. Today, when you embark onto a venture, there are several things which are outside the capabilities and outside your vision and horizon that may go wrong. So it doesn't really matter. I work with Ernst & Young, that's my day job. So while, I do pro bono help at TIE and serve some of you entrepreneurs through TIE. As a firm, we believe that, we should if somebody really has tried something in entrepreneurship and has not worked, we don't see it negative as, as a disqualification when they apply for jobs. We have picked up people even in Kerala who have tried on entrepreneurship and who have not really succeeded well, or who have sold off their companies and, they wanted to get back to a regular field. So some of those things are changing for the better. Again, another very interesting report which says that one of the key deterrents why professionals don't get into entrepreneurship is because there is an addiction. And there is an addiction of that monthly pay slip that you get in the first 1 week of the month or whenever your company pays. So they say that the payslip addiction, or getting that payslip in the first 1 week of the month, that addiction is far more addictive than drugs and alcohol and cigarettes as well. So it's a very difficult addiction to get over. So if you're not embarking into entrepreneurship at a very young stage, you will be a lot more inquisitive, and you'll be a lot more hesitant at a later point of time. And for those of you who eventually want to be entrepreneurs, I think the time is now. Don't waste too much of time thinking about when should I embark into entrepreneurship, if you think entrepreneurship is the journey that you want to take. I would want to close by reminding you again that prima facie, this is not an area which is built for everyone. And even as the president of TIE, I shouldn't be, we are supposed to foster entrepreneurship, but in our experience, we see that entrepreneurship is not for everyone. If you have the capability to take that risk, if you have the capability to pivot your business several times depending on the needs of the service and needs of the product and needs of the market, it's an uphill journey, and it's not an easy journey at any point of time. For those of you who feel that, I'll be the king of my time or the queen of my time, and hence I should be an entrepreneur, I should be my own master, these are all the wrong reasons why you should become an entrepreneur. Again, when I go to engineering colleges, I say this, if you think that your life will be a lot more casual when you become an entrepreneur, you're wrong again. So if you think that, for the boys sitting in the audience, if you can wake up in a lungi at 11 o'clock in the morning and think that you're an entrepreneur, my time is my own, and it doesn't work that way. You have to have the discipline to work at those regular times, and perhaps much more than what you would have done when you're working for a firm or working in other companies. So from an ecosystem standpoint, I think you have everything with you right now in Kerala, right from government support institutions like KSUM. You have adequate amount of institutions which help you reach out to some of the markets. Of course, as I said earlier, the access to markets we are still there. We have not reached the end point, but access to finance, again, I don't think a great idea will lack funds in Kerala now, because there are enough people who want to help you. People are looking at angel investing as a separate asset class altogether, and they're seeing how they can use some of their free cash and help entrepreneurs and help some of the entrepreneurs get kicking. So for any of you who are thinking of getting into entrepreneurship, I think there is no better time. You should embark onto your journey right away. But the prima facie thing you should have is you should have an idea which solves problems, and an idea which people will be ready to put money and give you revenue on. So best of luck on all your entrepreneurship journeys and all your career journeys. Create wealth and happiness for all of you, for yourself and people around you. Thank you.